This is a public meeting for planning applications. The municipality of Central Elgin on Thursday, August 24th at 12:10 p.m. If I could ask council if there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof, please. Seeing none. Minor variance, 300 Colborne Street. This is a public meeting as required by the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed minor variance respecting 300 Colborne Street in the municipality of Central Elgin. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning this proposal? Seeing none. What method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on August 8th, 2023. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff, and notice was also posted to the municipal website and displayed in the weekly CE Buzz advertisements.
Thank you. If the applicant or agent is in attendance, please come forward to the podium. Looks like Mr. Ted Halwa. Ted?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Ted Halwa. I am the planner and agent for the owners, Killen's Marina, 300 Colborne.
Thank you. Are you presenting, Mr. Halwa?
I think the report and the notice is quite explanatory what the request is for. I was just going to add a couple of matters which I don't think came out in the report. The owners are seeking a reduction in the setback from Colborne Street. The requirement is 35 feet. They're requesting a minor variance to allow them to build at the 25-foot setback line. I would add that Colborne Street is a county road in this location, and they have been advised of the application and have expressed no concerns or opposition to it. I would also add that the dwelling to the north, which is the owner's dwelling, and the dwelling to the south recently built. This is virtually across from Foodlands. You may be familiar with it. It's a white clad, recently built single detached dwelling. Both these dwellings are built much closer to Colborne Street than we are requesting. The owner's dwelling was built in that location by permission of a previous committee of adjustment at the time of construction. And the recently built white clad dwelling, I believe, was built on the existing foundation or the existing setback of a previous dwelling on the property, which predated the bylaw and predated any requirements for setback. So those were the 2 points I wanted to add, Mr. Chair.
Appreciate that. I can ask the clerk, have you received any written submissions on the proposal?
Mr. Chair, I have not.
Are there any questions from the public? Are there any questions from council? Deputy Mayor.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Halwa, will this change the parking? If you move the building forward, will it eliminate parking or will it still be the same amount of parking?
There'll be parking on site in the conventional way that a single family detached dwelling provides parking, entirely on the property.
Okay, the same amount of spots, like the required amount?
It will meet the requirement, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Any other questions from council?
Mr. Chair, through you, I have a couple questions.
Councillor Graham, please.
Mr. Halwa, or through the chair, Mr. Halwa, was my understanding that there was a recent survey and there was a certain percentage of the land that was verified was allotted to the neighbors. Is that correct?
More or less, Councillor Graham, there's a dispute over the easterly or southerly property line, which is in the process of being resolved. But the survey that we had prepared at the time of the application for consent is the property boundary we're going on at the present time, but it may well change before we conclude the severance. But that the issue is unresolved. I'm not sure that answers your question, but
Yeah, that answers part of my question. So my follow-up question would be if that amount is going to be removed to the property to the south or given to the property or whatever verified, then that would increase the coverage of that lot, would that not, from 30% up?
The maximum coverage permitted would still be 30%. The building lot that is the subject of this application would be a little larger if the boundary in dispute is resolved in favor of the owners.
Okay,
But the coverage, the maximum coverage would still
remain at 30%.
30%.
Okay,
The building envelope on the parcel, which is derived once you allow for the setback in the side yards and the setback from Kettle Creek, is actually less than the coverage that is permitted on that lot. Not a
And-
lot, but it is less.
okay. And another question through you, Mr. Chair. What about the docks that are backing onto that? Are the new owners, if they're selling that piece of property that they're severing, are the owners going to be owning those docks, or are Kitlands going to maintain those docks?
I'm not entirely sure. There are docks along the retaining wall, and they would be owned by the new owner. They're attached to the subject lot, so they would go to the ownership of the new owners of that lot. And I haven't had discussions with the prospective owners as to their intentions.
Councillor Graham?
Yeah, that would just be my concern of, is that going to be a commercial lot then if they're going to run commercial docks off of there?
It's not zoned commercial, and there is provision, it would require rezoning to allow docking along the shoreline for personal use or personal gain. It would probably stay zoned residential, but with a corollary to allow them to provide docking.
And sorry, Mr. Hoa, through you, Mr. Chair, Killen's Marina is not zoned commercial land,
It is not, to my knowledge.
but yet they're running a commercial business.
Well, they have a commercial marina. There's been a marina on that site for many years. I'm not sure whether it predates the very beginnings of it predates the 1968 bylaw or not, which would make it legal non-conforming. I suspect in the update of the comprehensive zoning bylaw that is underway, some of those matters will be addressed.
Yeah, that would definitely be my concern if I mean, it's a commercial business that's being run there, just like the, Stan's Marina is commercial business. So not sure why that wouldn't be zoned commercial. We wouldn't be collecting commercial taxes on that property.
And I'm not sure how that property is assessed or taxed. It could be, I suspect there probably is a commercial levy on that property. The fact that it isn't maybe zoned for it wouldn't prevent that.
Thank you, Mr. Hoa.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from anyone? Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Is the committee prepared to make a decision? All those in favor? Opposed? If you would call the vote, please, Ms. Leach.
Councillor Graham,
Opposed?
Councillor Halpin,
Yes.
Councillor Watson,
Yes.
Councillor Connors,
Yes.
Councillor Bogman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Noble,
yes.
Mayor Sloan.
Yes.
That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on an A application should email Delaney Leach indicating which public meeting they wish to be notified, provide their name and address, or call the office at 631-4860, extension 268, and provide the same information. This public meeting is adjourned at 12:21. Thank you. This is a public meeting as required by the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed minor variance respecting 46942 Talbot Line in the municipality of Central Elgin. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning this proposal? Seeing none. If I may, to the clerk, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on August 8th, 2023. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff, and notice was also posted to the municipal website and displayed in the weekly CE Buzz advertisements.
Thank you, Ms. Leach. Is the applicant present? Would you like to come forward, please, sir?
Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
afternoon. My name is Rob Henderson. I'm here to request an ARU on my property, single detached 1-bedroom. I believe the property is well suited to accommodate such a thing, and it would help out with the rental housing situation and help with the cost of living. So I think it's a win-win for the community.
Thank you, Mr. Henderson. Ms. Leach, have you received any written submissions on the proposal?
Mr. Chair, I have not.
Do we have anyone online? Thank you. Does any member of council have any questions for Mr. Henderson? Seeing there are no further questions, everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Committee are prepared to make their decision. I believe I'm going to take a leap of faith. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Ms. Leach, if you could call the vote, please.
Councillor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Halpin,
Yes.
Councillor Watson,
Yes.
Councillor Connors,
Yes.
Councillor Bogman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Sloan.
Yes. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Delaney Leach or call the office at 631-4860, extension 286, and provide the same information. This public meeting is adjourned at 12:23. Thank you, Mr. Henderson.
Thank you.
as required by the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed minor variance respecting 46360 Mapleton Line in the municipality of Central Elgin. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning this proposal? Seeing none, can I ask the deputy clerk what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on August 8th, 2023. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff, and notice was also posted to the municipal website and displayed in the weekly CE Buzz advertisements.
Thank you. I believe we have the applicant in attendance. If you'd please come forward, Sahil and Serena Kawash.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. We are requesting this minor variance as we're looking to expand our family and home. In order to expand our home, we will need to build closer than the required 65 feet from the road. Our existing home is situated 43 feet from the road. In order for our addition to join our existing structure in a practical manner, we are looking to build the addition 43 feet from the road as well to be adjacent with the front of the house. We love where we live and we would love to be able to make our home work for our growing family. We greatly appreciate your time and consideration.
Thank you, Sahil. Are there any people on, anyone online? Yeah. Thank you. The deputy clerk, have you received any written submissions on the proposal?
Mr. Chair, I have not.
Does any member of council have any questions? Seeing none, everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. I'd now like to call the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Ms. Leach, if you could call the vote, please.
Counselor Graham,
Yes.
Counselor Halpin,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Yes.
Counselor Connors,
Yes.
Counselor Bogman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Sloan.
Yes. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Delaney Leach or call the office at 631-4860 extension 286 and provide the same information. This public meeting is adjourned at 12:32 p.m. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you, Serena.
Thank you.
This is a public meeting as required by the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed minor variance respecting 294 Hill Street in Central Elgin. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest? Seeing none, if I may ask the deputy clerk, what method of notice and when was the notice given to the public for this meeting, please?
Mr. Chair, as per requirements of the Planning Act, notice was mailed by regular post to every owner of land within 60 meters of the subject land and applicable agencies on August 8th, 2023. Notice was physically posted to the property by municipal staff, and notice was also posted to the municipal website and displayed in the weekly CE Buzz advertisements.
As it doesn't look like there's anyone in the gallery, may I ask if there's anyone on, please? And it doesn't look like there is. So Deputy Clerk, have you received any written submissions on the proposal, please?
Mr. Chair, I have not.
Thank you. Questions online? I'm figuring no if there's no one online. Any member of council have any questions, please? Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Can I ask for if I could now call the vote, please? All those in favor? Opposed? Ms. Leach, if you could call the vote, please.
Councillor Graham,
Yes.
Councillor Halpin,
Yes.
Councillor Watson,
Yes.
Councillor Connors,
Yes.
Councillor Bogman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Sloan.
Yes. Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Delaney Leach or call the office at 519-631-4860, extension 268, and provide the same information. This public meeting is adjourned at 12:42. Public meeting is required by the Planning Act to afford any person an opportunity to make representation with respect to a proposed minor variance respecting 16 Compass Trail, Block 67 of the municipality of Central Elgin. Does any member of the committee have a disclosure of interest concerning this proposal? Seeing none, if the applicant or agent is in attendance, please come forward to the podium. I'm told that the agent, Barbara Rosser, is online. Is that correct? Ms. Rosser, please.
That's correct, Your Worship. My name is Barbara Rosser, and I'm the planning consultant for Compass Point Inc., which is the applicant for this minor variance pertaining to 16 Compass Trail in Port Stanley. The property was the subject of site plan approval in February 2022 for a 6-story, 68-unit apartment building with 102 parking spaces. In the meantime, through Canada Mortgage and Housing, the multi-unit select program became available to provide mortgage insurance for a program requiring a minimum of 10% of units to be offered at affordable rents. In the case of the approved building, this can be accomplished by increasing the number of units from 68 to 70, so 2 additional units, and by allowing for a variance for parking spaces, so a reduction of 3 parking spaces. The increase in the number of units would result in a maximum density increase of 0.7 per net hectare, and the parking spaces would be from 1.5 to 1.45. So there would be no change in the approved building footprint, its design, or its height, and the additional units, the 2 additional units resulting in 7 units being offered in affordable at affordable rents can be accomplished through making internal changes to the building. So we've read your staff report and agree with it, and are hoping that the committee will support these 2 variances.
Thanks very much, Ms. Rosser. To the Deputy Clerk, have you received any written submissions on the proposal, please?
Mr. Chair, I have not.
And I don't believe we have anyone online. Shannon, do we? Thank you. Does any member of council have any questions?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I do have a couple questions.
Councillor Graham, please.
Ms. Rosser, was the original site plan approval include the 1.5 parking spaces?
Your Worship, can you hear me?
I can. Please proceed.
Okay. Yes, it was based on 1.5 parking spaces per unit.
So just as a follow-up question, why is there a reduction now if there is no increase in the footprint of the building? It doesn't seem that it's going to be taking over any additional space. So why would the parking need to be reduced?
That's because the parking requirements are based on a specific number per dwelling unit. So at 1.5 parking spaces, the requirement was for 102 parking spaces in total. If we increase the building from 68 to 70, there is no room to add additional parking spaces. And there isn't a requirement because these are 1-bedroom units, which typically have 1 car only. And so that would take overall parking to 1.45 spaces per dwelling unit.
And just as a follow-up question, why is it that the affordable housing units are contingent on this?
I would say, well, first, I should mention that and it is noted in the staff report that there is a report from a transportation engineer that indicated that whether these affordability was an issue or not, a parking standard of 1.45 spaces per dwelling unit will be more than adequate. So affordability is an important factor, but it is not the key determinant in this instance. So your question was, again, why the 1.4? Could you just repeat the question?
Sure. Why are the addition of those 3 units contingent, or the affordable housing units are contingent on it increasing by 3 units. Couldn't they just have 7 units in the original site plan approval for the original amount of apartments? And just so that we understand, parking is an issue in Port Stanley. We've recently had a parking study that says that we need to increase parking, not reduce parking. So, you know, our bylaw is 1.5. I would like to see that continue again because we have parking issues no matter where we are in the village. But if you can explain to me why the affordable housing would be contingent on the 7 affordable housing units are contingent upon adding 2 or 3 more units. Why not just have the 7 affordable parking housing units within the original site plan approval for the amount in the original building?
Well, first of all, the increase is in two units only, 68 to 70. And it has to do with the internal design of the building. There are only so many opportunities to create 1-bedroom units within this existing building. There are already a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units, but Compass Point looked at the design of the building, and through converting a guest suite to a 1-bedroom unit and splitting one of the larger 2 bedrooms into 2 units, they could accomplish the additional 2 units, so 68 to 70. And in the job of the transportation engineer and my job in providing justification for the variances was to consider the site-specific circumstances of this particular property and the proposed variances. And the determination was that 1.45 spaces represents a nominal decrease from the 1.5, and that there should not be any negative impacts, affordability aside.
And sorry, just to follow up, that didn't really answer, and maybe I wasn't clear. I'm just wondering why they couldn't have 7 affordable units in a 68 unit facility rather than have 7 units in a 70 unit facility. Why do they need to go up 2 units, reduce the amount of parking to have 7 affordable units? Because in the report that came to us, it said that it was those 2 things were linked, when it doesn't seem like they're linked to me.
Councillor Graham and Ms. Rosser, we have someone from Compass Point is in the gallery and is going to speak to this. If I could just welcome you and look forward to your remarks.
Good. Hi, Barb, I'm here. Mike Mesha from Domus Developments. I just came in case there's any other questions. So Barb, I think that one I can take. So the requirement with the program that we're going in is 10%. So 68 is 6.8. We get to play with rounding. So if we get to 7 D even, then the requirement is 10%, which then we're automatically bumped to require 7. The additional 2 units also help make the building a little more economically feasible within the footprint. So we don't have to do any major alterations because there is a requirement for those affordable units. The actual rent amount is probably somewhere $1,000 to $1,200, depending on how they actually calculate it, which decreases the value of the building. So by adding a few units without actually changing anything major, it helps just make it viable to do. Because this building will probably be the biggest single structure in the area, about $30 million for Port Stanley in the hamlet. So we're trying everything we can do to make sure it's viable to build. Because in today's environment, without this program, it would not be.
Thank you. Councillor Graham, do you have a follow-up?
So just so we're clear, Mike, it's just a profit and affordability for you, for the builder.
It's always profit. Yes. What was your question there?
Why you have to increase from 68 to 70 units to accommodate 7 affordable housing?
So the requirement from CMHC is a percentage base, not a unit base. So 10% of 68 is 6.8, which means we would provide 6. By adding 2 units, we're now at 70. So based on 10%, we would be required to provide 7 even. So if we don't increase them, then we'll have less affordable units by 1. But the alternative side to that, that's actually more important, is the 2 extra units help make the building viable, because there's still hurdles that you have to hit with CMHC. to make sure that, you know, you're going to cover the debt and everything. So the more units we can have, the more it will help get approvals and help CMHC's other criteria that's not affordable based.
And if I could just add to that, Your Worship, the staff report and the justification I provided point out your official plan goals of providing a broad range of dwelling types, and in particular, those that are considered affordable. And so I think there's a broad public benefit. It may be 7 units, but it is 7 units that would be available to people who might not otherwise be able to afford it.
Thank you, Ms. Roster, Mr. Messier. Councillor Graham, any further questions, please?
Nothing further.
Everyone has been given a fair opportunity to be heard. Is the committee ready to make their decision? I think they are. All those in favor, opposed, and if you could, Ms. Leach, record the vote.
Counselor Graham,
Yes.
Counselor Halpin,
Yes.
Counselor Watson,
Yes.
Counselor Connors,
Yes.
Counselor Bogman,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Noble,
Yes.
Mayor Sloan.
Yes.
That's carried. Thank you.
Those wanting to be notified of the committee's decision on any application should email Delaney Leach or call the office at 631-4860, extension 286, and provide the same information, which is which public meeting they wish to be notified on. This public meeting is adjourned at 1 p.m.
Thank you, committee.